All
Now
right,
you're
good.
live.
We are live and participants are filling the room, so this is good, albeit virtually. So this is good. So we'll let everybody kind of get into the room. We've got a lot of people registered, so we'll get everybody in and settled. And there is a chat, an active chat box that you guys will see. That's what we're going to be relying on for communication with you. We figure since you're going to be eating your sandwiches and crunching and munching, might be a good idea to mute you and keep you guys out in the chat room while you're enjoying the Jimmy Johns that we provided. If they were, of course, within 5 minutes of you. Some weird rule. Did you know that, Barbara?
No.
You have to be, those Jimmy Johns will not deliver to you unless you're 5 minutes from their store.
Ah.
Yeah, I guess that's how they keep it freaky fast. So, so we did have a couple of attendees that asked, and they were like, the Jimmy John's doesn't deliver here. So it's kind of weird. Got to be within 5 minutes. And I actually looked in Schaumburg. There's actually 3 Jimmy John's just in the town of Schaumburg. It's crazy. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So good. We're getting everybody loaded in. That's exciting. Barbara is showing off all of her HomeBot swag, some of which she has to send us.
Uh-huh.
So that's pretty good. That's good. So we'll get everybody another minute to load in here. So that's perfect. Hey, Kim, how are you? You're welcome for lunch. So that's good. We've got that. And Scott, good to see you, buddy. So good to see you in the chat room. You're welcome for lunch as well. So we'll get the introduction phase of this kicking off. So first of all, I want to thank Tony for helping us put this together. She does a great job for me in that and just taking care of all of this technical stuff. So we appreciate you, Tony. We have with us today Barbara Doman. Barbara is with the company and has been for the last 2 years, a company called HomeBot. It's a company we engaged in last year to really start marketing our database and doing some different things. The exciting part about HomeBot, though, is they have some tools for realtors that can help you guys market your own database, your own leads. And with that, we're just going to turn it over to Barbara. She's going to take over the screen. And before I do that, I do want to know that we are good taking questions throughout the presentation. I would tell you guys, just put your questions in the chat box. I will make sure they all get answered as far as that's concerned. And with that, enjoy your Jimmy John's. And Barbara, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for setting this up. And thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share all this HomeBot with you guys. So let me do this. Let me share my screen here. So I have been with HomeBot for a couple years now. It's a fairly new company out of Denver too, but I've actually also been in real estate for, oh my gosh, almost 20 years at this point.
Wow.
I build homes for a builder. I technically still have my license, but I don't practice actively anymore. So I've been in your shoes. I know how that all works and everything too. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So I'm going to show you everything, how HomeBot works, what it actually does. But something I think is really important too is to understand why, right? Like, why are we even doing this in the first place? Where did HomeBot come from? And really, it all started with this statistic. So I don't know why, and again, I've been in real estate, it feels like forever, and this surprised me. On average, when someone retires, 83% of their wealth at retirement on average is actually coming from the equity in their home. And it's interesting. I think maybe it surprises me because there's so much focus on that 17%, right? Everybody talks about their 401k and, oh, do you have a financial planner and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, homeowners don't even sometimes think of their home as an asset, let alone a retirement strategy. So a lot because of that, unfortunately, I think a lot of homeowners just aren't making the best possible decisions that they can to maximize that wealth, right? To build it up, to save money, and make sure that they're making the smartest financial decisions that they possibly can. So that really is where HomeBot comes in. So HomeBot is a client for life portal. The client for life part is very, very important. That is something that we focus on and make sure that we, take into account daily. You all have worked hard to get your clients in the first place. We want to make sure they stay with you. We don't want them getting curious about different things like, hey, I wonder what my home's worth, and go wander off somewhere else and get sold as a lead, to some other agent. We want to help avoid that. So what this does is it's this really cool portal that your clients can get into. It's all mobile friendly, no matter what device they're looking at. And it comes to them in the form of an email from you. So you are the person that's providing this really valuable information. And it's not just about their value, which is where everybody usually ends up starting to get curious. But it's so much more than that. It's helping, you're the person that is helping your client understand those different decisions they should be making and when they should be making those different decisions. So I'm going to jump in here. I have pretty slides, but honestly, I think it's just way more fun to look at the real thing. So I'm going to jump in here, and this is what the HomeBot Digest looks like. So now what's really cool, I'm going to back up just a step here. One of the coolest things about HomeBot is this is automated. You guys don't have to come up with content. You don't have to figure out like, okay, well, how do I put this whole report together? We do all of that for you, which is amazing. Now you can go off and do the important things like sell more homes. So we send once a month this email on your behalf to your clients. Again, it's going to look as if it comes from you. When they open up their inbox, they know you, and they're going to see actually their subject or their street address in the subject line. So right off the bat, they're like, oh, cool. What's Rich sending me? It's got my address. It's obviously for me. So on average, we see a 70% open rate on these emails.
That's crazy. That's crazy high, by the way.
Rich, I know yours has got to be right up in that same ballpark too.
I wish. I honestly wish. I mean, we do a great job with our stuff, but the stuff I do with you guys, definitely, because we use the product, but just general emails that we send out, they don't have this open rate. So, I mean, it's one of the things I really like about the product for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that is the thing, is this is super, super engaging. As real estate agents, we send out communication already, like from our CRM, things like that, right? That we're trying to stay in touch with our clients on a regular basis. Our newsletters, our pumpkin pie recipe, organizational tips, things like that. And those are all wonderful, the warm and the fuzzies, right? That we're sending to the clients. But this is something to help complement that. This is, everybody wants to talk about them, right? This is something that is specific to your client and their exact situation. So when they open up their HomeBot Digest, there's a couple things to kind of point out here. First of all, I do want to note up at the top here, let's say you've got maybe a client that's an investor and they've got multiple properties that they own. Or maybe your client just has an awesome winter home down in Florida, where I really wish I was right now with all they or you can add those properties in here as well, so they can see all of their properties in one place and click through. These are also available in Spanish. So if you happen to have any Spanish speaking clients as well, you can send it the entire digest right over in Spanish. So when they get their email and they open up their HomeBot Digest, they get a secure link. They don't have to download anything or log into anything. But when they open it up, of course, they're going to see your smiling face right off the bat with all your contact info, so they know how to ask you questions. But the thing we're always going to start with is the thing everybody's curious about, right? We're going to start with their value. Now, this is not a estimate. This does not come from Redfin. We actually use a third-party company called Black Knight. Whether you're familiar or not, they're actually the second largest data provider for, home values, real estate, financial institutions, things like that. But we kind of just don't hear about it as much. The reason we use Black Knight is it tends to be a little bit more accurate. These values tend to be more accurate. Even a little bit on the conservative side. But the really cool thing about this is, you and I, all of you and I, and Rich, everybody, we all know there is no perfect automated value model out there.
Nope.
Honestly, as an agent, nor do I really want there to be, right? I want them to reach out to me. So if your client, maybe the data up in space doesn't know your client just finished their basement and they've got all this extra square footage or, something like that, they can actually start the conversation with you and start interacting with you. They can tune their value, let you know a little bit of what they think. Well, I just finished that basement. I think it's got to be worth more like 770. We go through and we actually ask them about a few questions, just verifying that all the information is still correct and even giving them an opportunity to tell why they think it might be worth a little more. I did, added that basement and threw a bathroom down there, but they get input. So there's confetti, yay, they've just value. But the great thing for you guys as agents is now you are alerted. You get both a text and an email that says, hey, your client tuned their value. They might need an updated CMA. So this is the perfect opportunity to reach out to that client. They may just be adjusting to adjust to get their updated value, and that's great, but it's a touch point for them. They may be interested in selling and want to make sure their value is accurate. So we give them the ability to start talking to you right off the bat. And honestly, we want them to, the whole rest of this digest is meant to encourage those conversations with you. We're constantly planting little seeds throughout this and giving them the opportunity in several places to chat directly with you or ask you those important questions. So once we know the value, that's great. But the important thing is our equity, right? So what we do is we pull in their loan information from public record. They can always update their loan balance, their loan details, things like that. But now that we know that, now we know and we can estimate what their equity is. So the rest of this digest is going to call attention to different ways. Each little section is going to give them an idea of different ways that they can either save money or use that equity to build wealth. Now, this is what's really cool. One way that they can save money, right, is to refinance. What's great is because Rich is setting this up for you guys and offering this to you guys as a partnership, I don't, but you guys don't want to answer questions about refinancing, right? So now what's really cool is if your client does have a question about this, Rich is there to answer those questions. It's going to, introduce him as your partner. Hey, this is somebody I trust. If you've got questions on this, let my trusted partner help you. They can ask Rich questions directly, but then what's great is you also get alerted. So you know what your clients are doing and you've got the great support there from Rich, who you know is going to take great care of your clients. So besides refinancing, we tell them all the time, right? Pay extra towards your principal. That's going to help you cut down on it. But this is interactive and fun. Even something as simple as paying an extra $50. You think like, oh, it's $50. That's not going to make an impact, but it does. So it's great to be able to help that client understand just how all of that works. Now, this is my favorite part as a real estate agent.
Yeah, this is the fun part.
Yes, exactly. So this is, obviously saving money is great, but we've got all this equity. There are some different things that we may be able to do with that equity, whether it be upgrading to your dream home, or maybe I never in a million years thought, oh gosh, well, I can buy investment property. That's really interesting. Let me see what that looks like. So it gives your client a general scenario and, hey, this is what this could look like if you did it. But hey, reach out to me. Let's talk about this and see if this is an option for you. Or even something, like I said, upgrade to a bigger home. Perfect example of this. I have an agent up in Wisconsin, and he's partnered with his lender. He had a client that he closed a home with 7 years ago. He sold this home to the guy 7 years ago. He sent him his newsletter and stuff, but hasn't really had a conversation since. The agent sends out all of his digests. Right away, he gets a call from this client. And the guy's like, well, first of all, thank you for sending this. This thing is so cool. He's like, but I cannot believe your timing. He's like, my wife and I were just sitting on the couch the other day talking about, hey, we're going to grow our family. We might need to start looking for a new home in the next 2 or 3 years. He's like, but looking at this, I'm kind of thinking maybe we talk about this now. Like, is this an option now? That little seed planted turned into that agent listing the home that he sold him 7 years ago and helping him find the new one. And of course, the LO was there to help support that as well and get them in that new home. But it was so cool. I mean, funny, not funny, but the client later told the agent, he's like, I hate to tell you this, but I loved working with you in the first place. He's like, but it's been 7 years. Honestly, I forgot your name. He's like, I would have loved to work with you, but he's like, I probably would have ended up just asking a friend for a referral. He's like, so I'm so glad we got reconnected. So
No, that's great stuff. That's great stuff. And I think, one of the other things, if you go back to this screen, which I love, is, what we're doing with clients here is just notifying them that, hey, you have equity. It's one thing, it's one of those things you can't see. When you get your statement at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter for referring to a 401k, you can see what you have in there. But this particular email actually tells them the exact dollar amount that they have locked up in this house that they could do other things with. And so, it's kind of like, if think about it this way, it's really your monthly statement on your equity. And oh, by the way, here's the things you could do with the equity. And, the interesting, you had made a reference, Barbara, about a story. I'll get clients that we have in the program and they'll call up and inquire about something. And let's say it's a refinance. And I'll get to the point where I say, oh, by the way, where do you think your house value is today? And the reference I get now is, oh, well, you guys told me my house was X, which just goes back to the fact that they're definitely looking and opening this thing. So I have a question. Our first question comes from Claire. Thank you. She asked this question, which was one of my curious questions too, when I first started on the program. But she asked the question is, can the color or the graphics be changed? And ultimately, I think I want to read it exactly. The white on black interface she feels is a little difficult to read. I kind of want your thoughts about that, because I think you and I talked about that originally when I started with the program.
Yeah. So, and actually, that's a really interesting question. I'm so glad that you brought that up too. So, we actually, when we first started HomeBot, we did a ton of user testing. Even all the way down to the colors that are used in here. We specifically use the red and the green, right? Like green is good, red is bad. We make it very cognitive. In terms of the background colors, studies have shown that this is a little bit easier on the eyes. However, everybody's eyes are different. So the good news is that is actually something that we are exploring. Right now, we can't change it. It is, a set template, but the white on black is something that we're exploring more and more too. And it is in the works to be happening and giving you an option.
That's good. That's good. I will say this to Claire, because I actually thought the same thing, but as we're all into marketing, part of what we do, whether it's lending or real estate, we're in sales and marketing. Without leads that we generate, we really can't do the things we do best, which is sell, lists, and finance property. So, but when I had a client when we first entered this relationship with HomeBot, and the client actually, her degree, I want to say she had a master's in marketing, and she saw the product and she said, I love it. The color schemes are amazing. You guys crushed it with this. I really enjoy it. And there's a gal that I actually studied, and, this was her space or her field of expertise. The other thing is, if the colors were troublesome, if you will, it wouldn't have the open rate that it does at 70%. I mean, you have people that are constantly going back into this and opening it. So, but again, obviously they're working on it. So, they can make some changes there, but in spite of the way that it looks, it's being received really well by the customers, and that's what ultimately that's what we want, is we want the clients to be able to open it, interact with it, see the interaction, and really just get a tip. If you've got any kind of database, it's the greatest way, in my opinion, to get a feel when somebody raises their hand and they're said, hey, what is going on in my neighborhood? What are values in my neighborhood? So anyway, to answer that question, I wanted to kind of address that, and I really appreciate that feedback. Claire mentioned that we may need to pull some older people and get their feedback. So again, the company is definitely looking at it, and we do appreciate the question. I did have, let's see here. I don't know if Dick asked, oh, here we go. Is the biggest images will appear, is this the biggest images will appear on my client's screen? So I'm not sure if he's talking about the sizing, I guess, from this.
So now, and this is also, I have my screen shrunk just a little bit in this, just so that you guys can see more of it. But as a client, so I've got a widened screen and a little bit shrunken.
Sure.
When you got it, it is actually sized to the screen or sized to your device a little bit better. This is a little bit mine, but it's something that can be adjusted as well too, with just adjusting your viewing.
Yeah, you're viewing on the upper right hand corner. So yeah, and I think that leads to what Karen was asking too, was can the font be larger? And I think that's, if you adjust the size of the screen, that makes a lot of sense. So that can be done, but thank you there. Melinda asks, is HomeBot another tool that a realtor has to purchase? So I don't know if we want to get into that. I mean, it's relative. Yeah, go ahead. You could talk about that, Barbara.
Well, let's just jump in. Let's just get it all out on the table.
Sure. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. So to answer your question, there are a couple different ways that you can go about this. The whole HomeBot system, if you choose to go, all in, all in per se, Rich is offering to co-sponsor you to kind of help out with the cost. So if it would be $50 per month, Rich is going to take care of $25 a month of that, and you would pay the other $25 a month, obviously for RESPA compliance. But that includes 500 clients for you. If you have more than that, fantastic. It's just $10 per additional 500 clients. So if you've got 1,000 people in here, it's $35 a month for you. There is also an option for you as well. If you just want to get your feet wet and test it out first, again, Rich has the ability to offer you guys a free version, a free trial almost. So you can use that free version as long as you want. You get all of the same functionality that we'll go through here today, but the only difference is you're just limited to 25 clients. So you can test out for those 25, see how it works. And then when they're all emailing you saying they love it, you can make sure the rest of your clients have it.
And then the question too, Barbara, relative to the $25 a month cost, based on what we're providing on a co-sponsorship, there's no contract, right? That's just a month to month, correct?
Yeah, it is. It's month to month. If you decide this isn't working for you, no problem. You can cancel.
Yeah, and I would say at a price point, if you look at it annually, at a price point of $300 a year, based on what the average real estate commission is, one transaction probably pays for this for a decade. I mean, I would believe that the ROI would be super, super strong relative to that. So I think certainly my suggestion would be, if you're going to do this, let it run for 12 months, see what the interaction is, and then measure it at that point. And again, it's a $300 investment, $25 a month. That's not really a lot to be able to touch your clients. These emails go out once a month, correct, Barbara?
That is correct.
Yeah.
And what's funny, to your point, that agent that I was talking about up in Wisconsin, he's like, okay, that one digest going out paid for my HomeBot for 35 years.
Yeah, the ROI is pretty significant for agents for sure. So that's pretty significant. All right, I got another question. Let me see if I get, it's a little long one. So let me see if I can read through this real quick.
Ooh, Mike, I know you're reading the one above. Mike?
Yeah, I'm reading the one above. Okay. So yeah, well, I'll get to Mike's in a second. So Ray had asked, is there anything in the works for a lead capture to force email before giving a value? So I think he's trying to say if somebody, well, you guys, as far as a product, that's probably a good thing to cover. And I don't know how it jumps around on the PowerPoint, so I apologize for that, Barbara. But what about, Ray made a great point. We touched on it earlier. What about just putting inbound leads, whether they're Zillow leads or Facebook leads? What does that look like in the system if they're not even homeowners? Is that what is that? How does that work?
That's the perfect transition right there. First of all, to answer and point, I'm going to point out something in just a little bit after we do this, but we actually give you some lead capture tools. We've talked a lot about homeowners with this report, but you're absolutely right. What about those buyers, right? Those first-time buyers, those people that you want to nurture and give some information as well. We do have something for that. So if you have somebody like a Zillow lead or something like that you want to load up in here, all we need is their name and their email address, and you can start sending them this buyer's report. Now, for those buyers you're working with, you're probably already setting them up, say like on a search, right? They've got listings coming to them on a regular basis. This is something to help complement that. So if those folks are looking at buying, again, we want to educate people, right? So we want to use this to complement those listings and say, okay, well, if I'm buying, what kinds of things should I think about from an investment perspective? So they're going to have their price point. They're going to pick the markets that they love, the different zip codes that are their favorites that they're thinking about looking in. And then it's going to jump in with that education. It's going to, we're going to score each zip code essentially. Is it more of a buyer's market or a seller's market? Well, what does that mean, right? If I'm looking at this, where can I get more square footage? I can get a lot more square footage over here versus over here in Logan Square. Or, average price point. It's helping them start to look at this with that lens. We've even got a little, like a map view of it. So just a different way to look at it. If I want, let's say I want to jump in over in Naperville. When I do this, we actually also have the ability, when you do the Agent Pro version, you can actually link your IDX search in here as well. So while your clients are in here, if they get curious about Naperville, again, we want to make sure that they're not jumping off and wandering and going like, oh, I'm going to go check on Zillow. It's keeping them with you. It's just
Nice.
one more little tool, making sure that they're staying with you as well. But it's all about those things that they should start to be thinking about and understanding. Even something like helping them understand their timeline to buy, right? Well, if I want to move when my lease is up in mid-May, where should I be in this process? I know a lot of times, especially first-time buyers, it's like, oh yeah, I just go out and look and then I go buy a house and then I right? That's how it works.
Right.
I have friends that, that's what they thought too. So that educational piece. And then what's cool with this too, when they do input this information, you also get notified. So now you're gathering more and more insight into what your buyers are thinking.
That's awesome. That's great stuff.
Yeah, even like how interest rates impact their purchasing power, right? It helps kind of create a little bit of urgency, especially right now too, right? With maybe starting to tick back up a little bit, and it's giving them those education pieces and encouraging them. See these little pink chat bubbles? There's like 50 plus of these throughout these reports where encouraging them to reach out to you. They just click that little button and it sends you a message
That's
directly.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I wanted to follow up on the 2 points made, because I don't want, first of all, I don't want Mike to think that we forgot about him. So Mike is one of our realtor partners on there, and he mentioned that his open rate last month was 90%. That's crazy, guys. I mean, it's just a crazy strong open rate. Regardless of the color scheme, it's still a really strong color open rate. I want to go back to Ray mentioned something, and I'm not sure. So he had mentioned that it would be nice to record an address or have some sort of landing or capture page. I guess he's talking about maybe putting a widget in or something where he could have this link to his site or something like that. I'm not sure what the access looks like on that, Barbara.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there.
Okay.
So so this is what y'all are really good on the transitions here. Perfect. So this is what your back end system looks like. And we're going to jump into what Ray was talking about with those open rates, his open rate of 90% and stuff like that. But you also have exactly those share tools, or I guess it was Mike's open rate, sorry.
It's all right.
Share tools, those lead capture pages, exactly what you're talking about. If you go up to where it says share here, we give you a landing page for homeowners and for buyers.
That's
These,
crazy.
I love these things. First of all, like I've sat open houses. This is what this page looks like. I've sat in open houses, and you know those people that come through the open house, they're like, "Oh no, I just live in the neighborhood. I'm not moving." I don't. Then they write Bugs Bunny or something ridiculous on the sign-in sheet, if they will even. I have had a ton of luck with, "Oh great, you live in the neighborhood. That's wonderful. I actually have this really cool report. If you're in the neighborhood, you should know what the market is doing around you and what your home value is. There's no obligation, just it's helpful information for you. I have this open, and this is great because your client can come in. This is the house that I grew up in. So we're just going to use that one. So they just start typing in their address. It's going to give them almost a little preview, like, hey, here's your value, but there's all this other good stuff that you can get access to when you give me your email address. So they pop in their email address, they put in their name. Now those people get HomeBot from you. You can use this in so many ways.
Barbara, can you show just to follow up on Ray's question, can you show the landing page for prospects or potential buyers, first time buyers, I guess?
Yes, so let me do that. I'm just going to go back over here.
And while you're doing that, I wanted to make mention that Mike also commented, not only did he have a 90% open rate, but he is actually can actively see who's working with the software and who's working. So he can go in and see not only the open rate, but he could see exactly what his clients are doing in there. And again, I think that gives you great talking points. Just if you took this system and carved out 2 hours a week, logged into the system and just looked at the activity and followed up on the activity with your clients. Hey, I know you're getting our software. I know you're getting, you interacted and were inquiring about some things in the neighborhood. Can I give you a CMA? Can I let you know what's going on in the neighborhood? What are you thinking? If you just carved out even an hour a week just to go back through your activity, you've got to be able to generate leads not only with that, but now you're giving yourself a reason to make phone calls, rather than just calling them and just randomly, hi, I'm just calling to see how you're doing. Wait a minute. Hi, I'm calling because you actually updated your value or you made some improvements. Do you really want to know what it's worth? So I think the tool's great because it could help people also set up calls and dialing into their database. So
100%. And that's actually, I'll show you guys next to that little, I was actually just talking to my real estate team. A bunch of our team is on HomeBot as well. And they might be doing something with this. I don't know why my little guy isn't working here, but let me go back to that homeowners one really quick.
Oh yeah, so the buyers leads probably looks somewhat similar, I would imagine.
looks very similar. Well, now I've done broke it all somehow.
Well, I'm going to go while you're trying to go back on that. I know there was a question from Nancy. I didn't want to skip your question. Thanks for being here, by the way. Can they integrate with their website, which they use in that particular office? They use KV Core, but is there a way to integrate the system into their website?
Um, if you mean integrate this into your website in the terms of like putting that little lead capture widget on here,
Yep.
we absolutely have that as well. That way, if
Cool.
you keep it more with your branding, you certainly can.
Perfect. That's awesome. And let's see here. Did you get back to where you wanted to be, Barbara?
My thing isn't working. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna try in a little bit again, but
Yeah.
the buyer's lead page looks very similar to what we just looked at, but it says like it asks them first, like, what areas are you interested in buying in? They're going to put in a zip code or a city. It's going to then ask them for their information, and then it will automatically send them that buyer's report that we looked at earlier too. So it's a very similar experience in terms of just entering your information to it. I'll try and pull it up again later. Again, I apologize that our team might be in there doing something to update it right now. Like, perfect.
No problem. Well, hopefully they're not based in Texas, because if you guys are based down there, they have rolling blackouts and all kinds of fun stuff with the snow, but and the weather they've had. So Melinda asks, does it work with renters? And I would think, when we were talking about potential buyers, you're just entering them as a potential buyer, and then they, like this section down here, buyers that she's got, you're just going to enter them in as a buyer. So you could certainly put renters in there off the hopes that they will convert. Do you agree on that, Barbara?
Absolutely, yes. And once they do become homeowners, from that buyer's report, they can add, or of course, you can update it and add it, but they can even add their home address as well. Little bit of a secret sneak peek thing coming. Our product team is working for this year on a rent versus own type situation within the digest too, or within
Cool.
that too.
Cool. So I don't know if Ray made a statement or if this was a question. He said on the lead page, it gives you price before the email capture.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so you're getting some information before you capture the email, correct?
Yes, they're getting
Yeah.
the value and that's it.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. And Mike had commented that, of course, since we're working on the software, that's always when it decides to break, but that's pretty funny. Kim says it's awesome. And then Ray, let's see. Oh, okay. Ray did clear this up a little bit. Referring to the homeowner lead capture, there would be 100 visitors unless you put in their email. No way for us to know if they're inputting their addresses or visited.
Okay, so there is no it until they enter all their information, we are gather it. We don't
Okay.
gather it. So it's not, I get what you're asking too, Ray. Like if they put in their home address and then they stop, is that what you're asking? Like, do you get their home address or the fact that they were looking at?
Yeah, I don't think you'd get the home address. They're going to have to input their information in there. It might be just a matter of how you're pushing the people to that page. If you push the people to the page, like, hey, you can get this information, but there's a ton of other information that you can get once you put in your address.
Right.
So,
Scott, your question too, is it similar to KV Core, the property valuation tool? No. Um, it's different in that it's not just in terms of the value. It's you own the home and here's what your value is, and that's great and all. But it's almost like exactly like Rich said, like it is your portal to log into to make sure that you understand and are tracking your equity position. You're understanding what's going on in the market around your home, and also giving you tips and things to do to save money or build wealth with that equity and things like that too. So it's kind of, but it's taking it a few steps further as well. Yeah.
So Karen asked, when you say 500 clients, does it mean that, oops, I'm getting a few other questions. I got to scroll back up. Does it mean if we are using it as a lead generator to up to 500 mailing addresses, what would be emailing address? Because we're not doing anything from a mailing standpoint, but yes, up to 500 email addresses and then another 500 for an additional $10. So I hope that covered that question, Karen. And let's see, Scott mentions, Scott, yeah, it's a good point. Scott mentions the difference probably between most valuation models is this not only is a valuation, gives you an idea of valuation, again, from Black Knight's 20,000 foot view, which we think might be better than Redfin or Zillow, but it's also a wealth management tool for your clients. Truth be told, like that chart you were talking about, 83% of wealth is in equity. Most people have no chance of becoming a millionaire or becoming financially set without home ownership. And I think this is a great tool that helps them manage that portion of their wealth.
This is kind of that little piece too. I 100% agree with you. And this is kind of that little piece tool. I just wanted to make sure, since I was on it, that I showed you guys too, that Mike was kind of talking about earlier, like how he can see what his clients are doing. And Rich, you mentioned it earlier too.
That's great.
See that open rate, and that's good. But this, and look, I've got a ton of great best practices for you guys. There's, with HomeBot, you also do continue to get coaching. So we want to make sure that you know and you get the most out of it. So don't think this is your last and then thanks, you're on your own. We've got tons of coaching and make sure that you're successful with this. But one of my best practices that I love, I am addicted to this part. Our clients are addicted to their HomeBot. I am addicted to this because I can see how addicted they are. That was a lot of addicted. But this is your real-time ticker that's going to show you up to the minute what people are looking at. Who most recently, all the way down to the last 30 days, is in this ticker here. Of course, now Holly Homeowner, that's my little demo person. So of course there's going to be a bunch of clicks on this, but these other people are real. These are people like Justin is looking at this. He's looking at the buyer profile. Justin's a past client. I probably had no idea that he was even looking at buying a home. But because of this, I can get insight and see that he has kind of moved himself into that buyer side too. John is an investor. He's looked at this 5 times. So what I do from a best practice standpoint is I might reach out to all these folks, right? I'm going to scroll through in the morning with my coffee and be like, okay, I've got to call John. I have to call Effie. I've got to call Justin and just touch base. Like you were saying earlier, Rich, sometimes it's like, okay, gosh, now what am I supposed to talk to them now? It's like, there's only so many things that you can come up with. This gives you that talking point. It gives you that reason to call. It gives you something to talk about with them. And
yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. You can only afford them so much. So you can only family, occupation, recreation, dream them so much. So we do have Melinda asks on here, and I'm glad you went through the activity list because I think it's the activity feed is a super, super powerful part of this package. Okay, so Melinda asks, does the agent enter her profile as a user and then manually enter her own client? So I'll let you cover how the setup, so to speak, on that.
That's perfect. And that is actually what I was going to kind of show you guys next too. Like, it is very simple. That is something important. Like, I'm showing you all these things, but the bottom line, remember, we want to make this as simple as humanly possible for you guys. So, even from signing up to your account, that takes like 3 minutes to do that. But once you get your account, now what, right? There's not a ton of stuff to set up. What you would do is once you create that profile, which that's the part that takes like 3 minutes, maybe 5 if you have to go scrounging for your profile picture or your photo. But you're going to put all your contact info. And then, first of all, HomeBot is going to help guide you through this. There's going to be little things that pop up and tell you what to do. But to get your clients loaded, there are a couple of different ways to do it. But again, make it as easy as possible. If you have them maybe a notebook or something like that somewhere. And enter them one by one. The only information we need is their name, their email address, and here, let me just do this here. Let's just put me in. I'm going to do that. Here's where you can choose if you want to do it in Spanish, but I'm going to put mine in. And then the address with the zip code. That is the only other thing required. You don't need to put this information in. You hit next and save and you're done. Now, here's the easy part. If you've got them in like your CRM or someplace digitally, it is as simple as exporting a file into an Excel or a CSV file. And you can come over here and we have templates so you can see like what file or what's required, what we can take in. Honestly, whatever system you've got it in, do not waste time trying to fit it into this template. Our team makes sure that we put it in the right format for you. We make sure there are no duplicates. So you just hit next. I'm going to load this file has some homeowners and buyers, and I drag and drop my file right there. That is it. Our team takes it from there. Like I said, we're going to make sure that everything's in the right format. I say usually give it 3 to 5 business days. A lot of times they're quicker, but once that happens, our team will let you know, hey, okay, we've got everybody loaded up. We're ready to start sending these out. So we will send them a welcome email, which you can absolutely, edit and update. We'll show you how to do that, but it'll send a welcome email and then their first digest. So if you put them in here, they automatically get it. They don't have to opt into anything. And something important to note, on average, we have less than a 2% unsubscribe rate. So wow. You get it automatically, but they like it, so they keep it. There are hardly anybody unsubscribing from this. So it's very effective, but it's very...
Yeah, that's crazy. So I was kind of curious if you're manually entering, let's say we're manually entering a buyer and you had had the home address, but I mean, what if they don't have a home picked out? What address are we plopping in there? Let's say we just have a random renter that we pulled off a Zillow lead. What are we putting in the home details portion?
Here. So then you're just going to hit next. Sorry, I did that.
No problem. It's not required. Sorry, I didn't see the optional part. So you could just put in the random buyer that doesn't have an address. That's perfect. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, you just flip the little switch here to say that person's a buyer. You can put this information in if you know it, but you don't even need that. It's a quick save from there.
So Karen, I'm going to try to get Karen to do a little bit of clarification in here. She mentioned Barbara keyed her her mailing address in. I'm confused. I don't know if that's what she was talking about, but I think that question came in before you got to that part. So maybe she can clarify for me. No home address. Is there a link I can send? Okay. So Nancy asks, is there a link that she can send in a private email that she can send to her clients to the site if they were interested in signing up? I guess she's trying to get their permission to put them in there. So
100%. So that's where we're going to go back to this page here that I can't. Let's try it again. But what a lot of agents will do is like, I have their email address, but I don't have their home address.
Sure.
Shoot them a quick email with this, darn it, with this. That's where they would be able to enter all of their information. Then they can put their home address in, and then you gather that information as well.
So you could share, if you go back to that previous screen, then you could share the link. You could share that link right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you could share that link and then send it out, Nancy, to them and give them the option of signing them up as far as that's concerned. All right. And Kim asks, hi, Kim, nice to see you. Ask, is the system supposed to text them when they reach out or just email? In other words, they get text or email notifications when the clients are in there.
You will get both. So when a client, if they ask you a question or they have some sort of buying signal. Like if you get an email that says somebody started exploring markets, that's a past homeowner that is saying, hello, I might be in the market to buy as well. Or like requesting a CMA. Those, like immediate action, you will get an email and a text message about that.
Good
You
deal.
bombarded though when somebody just opens it. We don't send that. You can use your activity feed for that too.
Melinda asks, can HomeBot sync with KV Core and Google Docs as our office uses these systems?
So there is no direct sync with that. However, what you would do is like, let's say you've got that Google Doc, you download, you save that as an Excel file, and you come over here and add the clients in bulk, and you just put that Excel file right in here. So it's as quick as it took me to click through that. If I've downloaded that file from Google Docs, saved it as Excel or CSV, and I can put it in here. So very
perfect. And Nancy wanted to know if it's going to come. Oh yeah, if it would come right to me. So I think that's correct. So it will when they. I think what Nancy was talking about is when they're interacting with the system, that will end up going directly to her. So.
Yep, exactly. You bet, Nancy.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. We're caught up on questions, and I don't know because we jumped around a little bit on the presentation. What have we missed anything yet?
We haven't missed anything yet.
That's good. So we've had the perfect questions that actually led us right through the presentation. Great job to our questioners for sure. Yeah, I'll let you if there's let's see here. Okay, good. If there's any other questions, you guys can hit us up with that. What Barbara, if you've got anything else you want to cover, or do you want to go into how to get into how we get them to either A, try it for free, or B, get it started?
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so I'm just putting this back up so that you guys have it easy to see. Like I said, we've got two options. If you want to, if you're like, look, this is amazing. All my clients need, again, it's all month to month. But it's that $25 a month. Again, Rich is going to help you out with the other 25.
Yep.
It's all month to month, as I mentioned, and that $10 for additional 500. Now, normally there is a $50 one-time, hey there, one-time setup fee for this. But again, Rich wants to help you all out. So we do have a promo code that is going to waive that $50 setup fee for you. So what to expect next? And then regardless, even if you're not ready to jump in like this, at least try it out for free. Rich is giving you guys all the ability to use the freemium version. Again, you get to load 25 of your clients, at least test it out, see how that works. And then if you like it, you can go from there. You can stay on that 25 plan as long as you have 25 clients or less. But next step, what to expect next. So you're going to get an email from Rich and his team that is going to essentially invite you to join him in HomeBot. All you'll have to do is just click that link, accept that invitation. Again, it takes like 3 to 5 minutes to create your account. They're also going to include that promo code to make sure if you do decide to go with the full version, to make sure you get that waived setup fee. So it's just that simple. You just accept the invitation, create your account, and you're good to go. Our team will always follow up with you too with tips, trainings. We've got tons of stuff, as I mentioned, to help make sure that you guys are getting the most out of it.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible opportunity to really market into your clients, and an incredible opportunity to have another place that markets back into your leads that are coming in. Even if you do get busy this spring, we're all super busy. You get it in here, at least let HomeBot do some of that work for you. Certainly people with teams could assign an agent, a buyer's agent, or somebody on their team to just work the activity report and just work and follow up with the activity report. I mean, it's really an amazing tool that even if you set it and forget it, you're still going to get activity. But if you set it and you're a little bit more proactive with it, make a few phone calls, I can't see how you're not like the agent in Wisconsin that paid for it for the next 35 years. So so that's a great thing. Let's see. Da, 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 da. So I have a couple other questions. Oh, okay, good. Uh, Nancy, we'll get you the invite. And Claire, is this tool promo often used on Facebook or other social media site? So is this tool or promo often used on Facebook or other social media sites to track attention?
So Claire, I'm guessing you probably mean, can you use this like lead capture page on social media and stuff? And the answer is absolutely yes. That's one of our best practices. Great way to use it. Post it on all your social media. You just use this link. You can put it on LinkedIn, Instagram. If you want to share it straight to Facebook, we've got a quick, like 2-click easy share button here.
Wow, that's cool.
This one usually gets the most attention. Guys, the little inside, scoop. This has the best conversion for you. But if you just hit this little share button, it's going to pop it up on whatever, Facebook group or whatever Facebook page you're logged into. Another tip, always type something here. Don't just hit share. You get more activity and more interaction when you do type something. But that is right there. You can just quick and easy post it to Facebook. Then all those Facebook, your sphere, right? All those people that sign up for this digest, they're getting gently reminded without you being too salesy. Like, I'm not good at going to my friends and being like, don't forget.
Well, and Tony, since I know we have some agents that are looking for listings, we need to post that on our social to see if we can generate some listings for those guys. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk about too is we are going to have a webinar, and the same exact way that we did this today, where we are doing this virtual lunch and learn. We're going to do the same thing with Jimmy John's on the 17th of March. We are actually going to do that session on credit repair. And so we're going to have Jim Drusky in from Illinois Credit Services, who is amazing. We've done presentations with him. We'll be talking about credit repair, credit restoration. We've been doing business with Jim for like 12 years now. So he's the only guy we send that type of client to try to help them get their scores up to maybe qualify for IDA and then some of the other products that are out there. So I wanted to make sure we at least covered that. That's going to be March 17th. So almost exactly a month from today. And yeah, we'll be doing the exact same setup, buying you guys some lunch and doing that. And Barbara, any last thoughts on this?
No, you guys try it out. I am not kidding you. Like I said, I've been in the business for a long time.
So I do have a question, and I hope I didn't cut you off. I apologize. I want to make sure Scott didn't. We got Scott's question in. He was asking, how can this be used with BombBomb?
Yeah. So now when you do the pro version, the $25 a month version, if you have a BombBomb account, you can actually link it up. Now, this is my lender account, so you're going to see a couple extra things in there. You guys don't use Mortgage Coach, but with the way that the BombBomb integration works is there's 2 different ways. One, you can send individual emails. So what I might do is I'm going to go to my buyers and I'm going to find, who's got the most equity. Maybe I need to send this person a message here. When you go in, you can preview their digest. So you can always see what your client sees. So if they have a question, you can open this up and check it out for them. But you get the little record BombBomb button up here, right-hand corner. So now I can record my screen with my little video bubble and call my client's attention to, talk directly to them. There's also something that you can do where instead of, if you don't want to send one-on-one messages, you can also kind of segment it. So you send a more general message to all of your buyers or all of your homeowners, things like that. Even if it's like happy holidays, it will send out the digest and embed your video within it so you can get that message to your clients. You can do that up to once a week too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We had another question come in, and hopefully it answers Scott's question. That's great. Again, there's some, I'm glad I'm doing this because I didn't know some of the tools that are available on the agent side. So that's exciting. Let's see here. So Dick Grieger asks, hey, if I was on the system for a couple of years and I was done, what happens to his clients that are on the system at that point?
That is a great question and a very, very important question. Your client, and it goes back to our core mission, our core beliefs. Your clients are yours. If you leave, you take them with you. They're deleted from your account if you close your account. They will never be remarketed to or sold to anyone else or anything like that. Your clients are yours. That's a great question.
Yeah, and two, relative to that, I wanted to bring up a point. So we're helping you guys pay for some of this. So while they will see our information, if they kind of are in the system talking about mortgages, I have no access to their information. So I don't have any access to any of their private information. Now, I may see that they raise their hand about a refinance, and I may call you and say, hey, your favorite lender would like to be introduced to this client, but that's about it. So
Absolutely. And Jill, your question too, that's another great one. If you move, this works all over. Doesn't matter. If you move to another state, if you stay here and you have clients in another state, it works all across the United States, no problem at all. It won't affect the value. It's all based on the location of the home. So that's no problem at all.
yeah, it's probably one of the advantages of being tied to Black Knight. It's just because it's national, you're not stuck in certain MLSs. So that's great. So great. We got a nice little late flood of questions in here. Is there anybody else have any other questions for us?
Oh, really great questions.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, this was super interactive today. We've really, really enjoyed this. I always know that we're making an impact when we get a lot of stuff going on in the chat. So, and I know, and I believe in the product. Certainly, we've had a couple agents that are already using it that I've talked to previously, and their feedback's been very, very strong with it as well. So, yeah, awesome. I'll give you guys another minute to kind of throw in any last minute questions, and then Barbara, any last minute thoughts from you?
No, but like I said, just give it a shot. What's it gonna hurt, right? Give it a shot.
Mhm.
Yep, absolutely. It gives you another opportunity to touch your past clients. Scott, you are absolutely correct.
Yeah, and consistently. I mean, that tends to be. I mean, we even struggle with it a little bit as far as doing consistent monthly mailings to our clients. It's like, okay, we got that one out, and it's like, oh yeah, we've got to get another one out and get another thing set up. So when we all get busy, as the weather's going to improve next week, and we're really busy, this is kind of a set it and forget it, but a way to still keep your clients close to you. Let's see here. Nancy asked if she can. Oh, yeah, absolutely. She asked if she can enter herself as a client and just use a different email for a professional. Yeah, that's no problem. So
Absolutely.
yeah, something you can do, Nancy. Certainly, if you want to try it out on the freemium version, just to see what it looks like. So sure.
Highly
And
add yourself because then you can poke around and play with everything and test it all out and see what your clients see. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, we've got, I don't think we've got anything else coming in. Barbara, thank you so much for your time. You're definitely an expert on this, so we appreciate you a ton. And again, we'll get probably an email out next week about the event that we're doing on March 17th. If you have further questions about this, guys, just reach out to me. Tony did make a comment that your invite should go out in about 20 minutes. And Ray, no problem, my pleasure. Melinda, thank you very much. I appreciate that feedback, so appreciate that. happy St. Patrick's Day. A little early, so belated Valentine's Day. Say, oh, we're doing it on St. Patrick's Day. Good point. We will have to maybe we'll bring some green beer for that and so have some fun with that. So thank you guys for all the great feedback. Hope you enjoyed lunch, and I'm gonna go eat my sandwich now. Barbara, thank you for everything again. Tony, thanks for putting this together. And if this helps make you guys more successful, it was worth it. So thanks again, guys. Take care.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.